us blind, then you want us drug. You want us poor while you get more of everything. But you don't get to tell me what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell me what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so I don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. You want us tricked, you want us numb. You want us scared and you want us stung. You want us shot and you want us bought in every way. You want our minds, you want our time. You want us framed up in your crime. I hope you know that it's time to go and we're taking names. 'Cause you don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell us what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. So we don't believe a single word you say. Want you out and I want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. We see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us start the show. Oh yeah, Viva's radio voice. Starting with a little Alex Stein, Primetime 99, Pimp on a Blimp, getting asked to show his man bits.
Isn't like
You don't have balls.
I have huge testicles.
Where's your proof?
They're right in my pants, and I don't.
Show me your
I'm not
proof.
gonna. You want to see my genitals? So, sir, you just came here and asked me to see my genitals.
Show me the proof, dumbass.
We have you on camera, sir. That you just came here unapproached and is asking to see my naked genitalia. Do you realize?
Well, I guess you don't have balls then.
Because I don't want to expose myself and show you.
Yeah, that's what you are, you Nazi. You don't want to expose yourself and tell the truth.
Wait, why am I Nazi? Because I don't want to show you my testicles?
No, you're the dumb one.
How am I the dumb one?
Because you're not getting anything I'm saying.
Because you just asked to see my testicles, correct?
Because you're a piece of shit.
So that's why you want to see my balls?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a theory to this, and I shared it on Twitter. I think this guy is like the next generation of Alex Stein, Primetime 99. I think this guy is actually trolling the trolls. I'm not sure if I'm serious about that, because if he's not, and I'm saying this not to be mean, he's either wildly drunk at about noon, or something else is wrong with his cognitive abilities here.
Because I'm a piece of shit, you want to see my testicles?
I want you to show the truth. Do you have balls?
Yes, I do. They're right here.
I don't see them.
You can kind of see how they're.
Oh, really?
See how they're.
Are you getting a zoom in on that? Look
They're
at this
right
retard out here
Alex,
showing off his bulge.
I can't see it.
I just got him to do
see
that.
it. You asked to see this.
You're trying to get my goat? I just got you to show everyone your bulge.
I show everybody my bulge every day. They're very large. What do
Good
you
for
mean?
you, dumbass.
How am I dumb?
Because you are.
And you think you're smart by sitting here begging a man to show him your genitals?
I think you're a piece of shit.
Why is that?
Because you are.
I'm very confused. He seems to be on a university campus. It seems to be midday, so very unlikely that he would be drunk or on some sort of cognitive impairing supplements.
Trickling down like that cum.
Like right here, this is a showdown. This guy is trolling Alex Stein. I think, at least that's my a reasonable hypothesis.
Down your pants.
Why? What is the deal with my penis and ejaculating? What's going on?
It's a showdown. It's like Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Plot twist, spoiler alert for anybody who wants to watch the movie. At the end of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels found out they got played by the innocent victim woman in the movie. I think I just ruined the movie for everybody who hasn't seen it. It's a classic. You should all watch it. I think Primetime 99 might be getting trolled by some guy who's damn good. And if he's not damn good, dude needs to seek some serious professional advice immediately. Good afternoon, everybody. 12:34. Okay, I'm going to go into the locals community to see, and I'll check on the other platforms, Rumble and CommyTube. Do we like this new format of the intro? We get a little beautiful song to start off the day 4.5 minutes early so that people can trickle in, and we get started at 12:30. It's 5 times August. The song is available on everywhere. And then we get into the actual intro funny video, which was the way I was doing it before, but then people were missing the video. And like, oh, I just got here, I got to watch it at 2x, and then I don't see what you're talking about in the good. I see in our locals community, Dashman91 says it's very good. And Jenny Beans over on Rumble says Rumble. The song is 5 times August. Liars, cheats, and crooks. Whenever I say the song, I got the rhythm of it. Liars, cheats, and crooks. And it's on Apple. So go make that number 1 in whatever category that song is on the interwebs. Holy hell. Look, the latest breaking news is that there's intercontinental ICBMs being blasted across Europe. I'm not going to get into that. But I wake up this morning, I'm like, oh, kind of a quiet news day. I'm going to go, talk about the transgender idiocy that we're seeing on Twitter. And then the news starts breaking. And then I forget to even pull up those tweets, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But yeah, the breaking news of the day, which we're going to talk about, Jussie Smollett is walking. Many of you know him as Jussie Smollett. That very famous Parisian actor, French actor, Jussie Smollett, is walking. And we'll break it down. At least I'll break it down as much as my understanding of it now that it's breaking news and having seen some of the a portion of the judgment. Incidentally, Uncivil Law is going through a meticulous coverage of that. You can watch that later. I put the link up for everybody. They don't even dismiss it on Double Jeopardy. They go with detrimental reliance, meaning we had a deal. Was it Kim Fox? I forget the name of the deal. We had a deal. And you got to respect that deal because Double Jeopardy never attached. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Pete Hegseth is in a little bit of trouble, except it's always the same play, racism, Russia accusations, or find someone to, gin up or bring up an old sexual impropriety accusation. We're going to talk about it because I have to check my own internal, not biases, but motivated reasoning. I have to check my own biases when reading this story. We're going to read it. And we're going to pick on little Tammy Duckworth. Boopsy says Gaetz pulls out of the nomination. That's the biggest news for me. What could be the plans for him now? What, if I may, Boopsy, I didn't have that on the list now, and now I've got to go see what the hell is going on. Let me just go to my Twitter feed. Breaking: Matt Gaetz withdraws to become AG. Holy sweet mercy. Well, we're going to start with that, people. Let me just make sure that I don't bring up my DMs. Not that there's any. Before today's show, I was talking to my wife in front of the camera, and I was like, I feel, I have a psychological disorder. I was like, I feel fat, and I lift up my shirt, and I was like, do I look fat? And she's like, Dave, your camera's on. And I was like, well, we're not live yet, thank goodness, although we could have been. And but now the deep state has pictures of my torso. Holy hell. Luke Rudkowski is sharing this. Score one for the deep state. And then we got a statement from Matt Gaetz. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate the thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There is no time to waste on needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me for the lead Department of Justice, and I'm certain he will save America. Okay, here are my thoughts in real time, thinking out loud, and I reserve the right to be very wrong on this. It was not a questionable, it was a big fat middle finger to the rhinos status quo to appoint Matt Gaetz. But some of us did say at the time he wasn't, even from a professional experience, the most experienced of the, what would have been hardcore MAGA potential picks. I was, thinking Ken Paxton. There were some out there who were thinking Bailey is Missouri or Mississippi. And there are some who might have thought that this was, on the one hand, maybe, I don't know, is it crazy to think that this was the plan from all along? Gaetz knew it wasn't going to fly, but this was a way to make some waves and show them what Trump's plans are. And so it's not necessarily a win for the deep state, but rather it's maybe a warning to the deep state as to what Trump is planning on doing. And they're going to find a very capable, very loyal, and very law-abiding attorney general replacement. Or they actually successfully browbeated Matt Gaetz into withdrawing. Either way, first of all, this makes me love Matt Gaetz even more in the platonic, legal, professional, political sense. I love Matt Gaetz even more now. The man is a man of principle, which is why I'm sure Trump picked him. But I think that there could have very easily been a play that even Trump knew this wouldn't. If the plan was never to actually run and hold Senate confirmation hearings on Matt Gaetz, but say, this is what's coming, MFers, and you'd better get with it. Test public support, show the public support of the populist base of MAGA to these senators who may not be willing to represent the voice of the people who just elected Donald John Trump as president. And now he says, okay, we can back it off now. It was never going to happen. We knew it was never going to happen. And now you come in with a Ken Paxton or what's his name? Bailey. Sorry, let me just make sure. Bailey, AG, is it Missouri? Yeah, Missouri. Okay, it's Missouri. Who's been doing amazing work. Andrew Bailey, Missouri Attorney General. Missouri v. Biden. I mean, you got Missouri v. Biden is Bailey. And so it's not even that it's a step down. I won't say it's a step up. You're comparing all things good. Bailey has a track record. Bailey would be a badass. And Bailey also has a track record of going after the Biden regime politically, ideologically to take it down. Okay, so that's interesting. I'm seeing here, and he gave up his seat in Congress. Stupid. Makes sense. Math and logic are not my strong suit, says N. Spence. Shows cowardice, in my opinion, says CWags48. That's over on Rumble. Can't disagree with that. Matt can get Marco Rubio's senator position. Hey, we'll talk about this Sunday. I have to actually, those types of nuances I'm not totally familiar with. But I guess it's going to be the segue into the next one that they are trying to browbeat out of an appointment or drum up the support for a vote against Pete Hegseth. Remember, at first, it's just amazing. It's actually almost crazy that it's the same thing over and over again each and every time. We're going to skip the 30 years, but Clarence Thomas, well, you can't really get Clarence Thomas on many things, although now they're going after him for ethics violations, taking gifts and whatever, make him resign. They went after Clarence Thomas for sex improprieties allegations. Brett Kavanaugh, who had been in the federal system for decades, gone through several clearances, whatever. When he gets the appointment and they're having their hearings for his confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court, 35-year-old allegations from Christine Blasey Ford, CIA asset extraordinaire, MK Ultra victim, as far as I'm concerned. They find sexual improprieties. Tulsi Gabbard, they got to go with the Russian asset angle on that. I guess maybe she doesn't have enough of a, I don't know what her background is, that maybe those accusations of sexual improprieties would never stick to Tulsi Gabbard in the first place. But they're doing it again. Pete Hegseth. At first, it was, who's Pete Hegseth? How can you have a Secretary of Defense who has no military experience? He's just a talk show host. Pete Hegseth. How can you have it? He's just a Saturday morning talk show host. Who the hell is Pete? And then people don't know that he's got 2+ decades. I appreciate some people are telling me that his awards might be standard awards given. And so maybe, I don't know how the military works either, never served. But people didn't know of his military experience, combat experience, 2 Bronze Hearts, among other military accolades. They did that. And now that one has faded out, they've come up with accusations of sexual improprieties. They've dug up accusations from 7 years ago. Check this out. Let me get the article. And by the way, I can tell you, I know my propensity is to say this is bullshit. I like Hegseth, and I'm going to be forgiving on what I might otherwise be unforgiving on had it been a Democrat who's accused of this. There's 2 things. At its most charitable to Hegseth, it shows it shows judgment that I would not exercise. I would not do. Having consensual, at the most charitable, it's consensual relations with a woman who he knew was married at a conference after a night of drinking. Not something I have ever done, and not something I would ever do. At its most charitable. At its most uncharitable, you believe the woman who no charges were ever pressed. They had some sort of settlement. But I'll tell you why I'm a little bit skeptical of the woman's version of events. Because we'll get there in a second. I'll tell you up the front so that nobody takes this out of context. The woman was married, is out at a Republican conference. We're going to get to this in a second. Drinking in a bar, gleefully, and then leaving, as per video footage, arm in arm, smiling with Pete Hegseth, a married woman whose husband is at the event. So in the event, in the realm of possibility, was it non-consensual, or was it a woman who's like, holy shit, I just cheated on my husband and now I've got to come up with a damn good excuse. I'll let you play the judge. Police report reveals new details from sexual assault allegation against Trump's defense secretary nominee. It's amazing. 7 years old, by the way, only comes up now, but it's to be expected. And had the political roles been inverted, I would expect people to make hay of this, and I would expect them to use it as a weapon. California woman told police that Trump cabinet pick Pete Hegseth physically blocked her from leaving a hotel room. He blocked her from leaving, which the underlying implication is that she entered consensually at 2:00 in the morning, give or take, after leaving a bar, smiling gleefully with Pete Hegseth. Okay. Took her phone and then sexually assaulted her, even though she, quote, remembered saying no a lot, end quote. Police report obtained by CNN. Okay. The police report, 22 pages, shows some details. It was released under a FOIA request. It's 7 years old. This occurred back in 2017. So Hegseth, we know he's been picked as Secretary of Defense. He told police that the encounter was consensual and that he repeatedly made sure the woman was comfortable with what was going on between the two of them. That was in quotes. 7 years after the alleged assault, questions over what happened that night could jeopardize his nomination. He wasn't charged. His attorneys acknowledged Hegseth later entered into a settlement agreement with the accuser, that included an undisclosed monetary payment. Hold on. All right. So they say, and you know, this is an amazing thing. Like, if you're going to make a statement that is undeniably true, not one that is easily retorted from a political perspective. Quote, this police report confirms what I've said all along, that the incident was fully investigated. That's true. And police found the allegations to be false. You know that someone's going to say that's not what the report says. Unless the report says that, which apparently the report doesn't say the allegations were false. No charges were ever laid, which is where you could have left it. So you don't give fodder to an easy rebuttal to contradict a portion of a statement. No charges were filed, said Timothy Parlator, Hegseth's attorney, told CNN. Okay. Although the report does not say the allegations were to be false. The woman accused Hegseth of assault. She broke into tears when asked about the matter by CNN last week and declined to comment. Listen to this. Okay. So according to the police report, the alleged assault took place in the early morning hours of October 8, 2017. Hegseth spoke at a convention of the California Federation of Republican Women at the Hyatt Regency Montgomery Hotel and Spa the night before. I looked into it. Hegseth has been married 3 times, divorced twice. And from what I understand temporally, he was not married at this time because he got divorced in 2017 from his second wife, got remarried in 2019. An attorney for the city of Montgomery, which had previously shared only cursory details about its investigation, wrote that the city was releasing a redacted version of the report because it had previously released it to Hegseth in 2021. It identifies the Jane Doe. Let's go here. The records release does not include copies of video footage. Fine. Police reports description of Doe's account on the night mirrors some of the details laid out in a memo written by a friend of Doe and delivered to the Trump transition team last week, which allegedly sparked consternation among Trump advisors who were caught off guard by the allegation. I'd be shocked if that's true. I mean, I'd be shocked if nobody knew about this. I'd be shocked if Hegseth himself didn't disclose this. Doe and Hegseth, as well as this is the events of the night, and listen to this and you'll come to your own conclusions afterwards. Both Doe and Hegseth, as well as several attendees interviewed by police, told officers that the two of them went with a group to the hotel bar, Knuckles. By the way, nothing good happens after midnight. It's 10 o'clock and now it's 8 o'clock for me. After the speech at an after party. There, a conference attendee told police that Hegseth had touched her knee and invited her to come to his hotel room. Hegseth, single, man, and from what I understand of the bar scene, that's what people do at bars. Meet, hook up, and carry on with their lives. It's not stuff that I do. The attendee said she declined the invitation and, quote, gained the attention, end quote, of Doe and had her become what the report describes as a crotch blocker, hoping that Doe's presence would detour Hegseth's attempt to have sex with her. The attendee later left the bar, said Doe did not appear intoxicated when she last had contact. Okay. Another attendee told police she saw what she described as Doe and another woman flirting with Hegseth at the bar. Okay. At the time, Doe was coherent and did not seem intoxicated to the point where she would not be able to take care of her own safety. That attendee said, okay. Doe told the officers she believed Hegseth was acting inappropriately with the other women during the conference and texted someone that he, quote, was giving off a creeper vibe, according to the report. Doe later told a hospital nurse that she was not sure but believes that something may have been slipped into her drink as she cannot remember the night's events. The nurse passed that on to the police report. The report says. Report also notes Doe had been drinking much more than normal that day. Okay. Officers reviewed surveillance video from the hotel, timestamped 1:15 a.m., that showed Doe and Hegseth, quote, walking together with arms locked together, end quote, leaving the bar and heading toward the hotel pool with Doe smiling. She remembered walking out of the bar. I'll tell you, we'll skip to where it gets very interesting. Police also interviewed a hotel employee who responded to guest complaints about an argument that they heard at 1:30. Hegseth told an employee that he had the freedom of speech before he and Doe left. The employee remembered. The employee said Hegseth appeared to be heavily intoxicated. Doe, not so much. Okay, then Doe told police her next memory was the argument was being in a hotel room. After the argument was being in a hotel room with Hegseth. They had an argument. They leave hand in hand, arm in arm. She's smiling. And then they're back in his room. Tried to leave. He blocked her. She doesn't remember a lot. Next, she remembered Hegseth over on her. I'm not reading these details. They did it. Okay, skip it. You can read that. Listen to this. Doe told police she did not remember how she got back to her own hotel room, but remembered waking up in her room and getting into bed. Doe's husband, who attended the conference with her, told police he was worried when she didn't come back to their hotel room earlier that night and that she didn't return until about 4 a.m. Okay, this I think is, as far as I am concerned, like the most relevant element of all of this. She's there with her husband. She goes to a bar without her husband, is getting drunk and returning consensually to the hotel room of another man, where they do it, where it ends with fluids on a body. And then she has to go back to her husband in the hotel room and maybe now is thinking, what the hell have I just done? Doe told officers that, quote, the incident involving Hegseth did not dawn on her, end quote, until after she returned home. She went to a hospital, reported sexual assault on October 12th, where she underwent a rape kit. Gave her clothes wearing the night before. A nurse at the hospital first reported the alleged assault to authorities. Hegseth, in contrast, said it was consensual. She sat down in a room and did not leave, and that she thought it was odd that she stayed in his room, according to the report. Okay, fine, then that's it. Hegseth said that Doe asked him if he had a condom, and he didn't. He said he asked her if that was a problem, and she said it wasn't. After the sex, Hegseth said he had a very clear conversation with Doe, who told him she would tell her husband she had, quote, fallen asleep on a couch in someone else's room. He told police that she showed, quote, early signs of regrets, end quote, but did not elaborate. All right. So you have two versions of events here, although you don't really even have two versions of events because no charges were laid. They entered into a settlement for reasons that I think are obvious. But the woman is at a conference, drinking without her husband, returning to somebody else's hotel room. I see from Hegseth's perspective, from a matter of like self-preservation, you're having sex with a married woman. You're doubling your risk of someone killing you, either the woman or the husband. But that is not the issue. The issue is not morality. The issue is criminality. And the issue is whether or not this has anything to do with his nomination appointment to Secretary of Defense. And between the two stories of it having been non-consensual or it having been consensual, and you have a woman waking up and saying, what the hell have I done? I've got to go back and crawl into the bed with my husband after having had sex with another man. Let's think of a story. Oh yeah, I'll fall asleep on your couch and I'll clean up and then I'll go back to my husband. So those are my thoughts on this. Ultimately, I would say I don't understand how people do these things. Even at the most charitable interpretation, I do not award this the least charitable interpretation of criminal sexual impropriety, sexual assault. But those are my 2 cents. Can't ignore the story, nor should you. I try to think of what would I think about if Hegseth was a Democrat nominee. I might not be as forgiving, although I think I'm consistent in the interpretation of these events. It's not guilty until proven innocent, and it sure as hell is not trial for sexual assault in the court of public opinion. And the bottom line is that had it not been for the Democrat systematic abuse of throwing around these accusations, one might actually lend more credence to them when they occur. But they use it not just consistently, reflexively, when they want to go after someone politically. They did it to Matt Gaetz. Don't believe it for a second. Whether or not Matt Gaetz was doing things extracurricularly that I would not do, to each their own. We're not hiring babysitters here, people. You're hiring a Secretary of Defense, someone who's going to be involved in causing the death of people. And Hegseth, to his credit, seems to have been divorced and got married later on and still married. So that is it. Those are my thoughts. No one will accuse me of not having covered it because I'm politically biased. I'm just telling you this. Oh, that's right. They also said that his white supremacy tattoo. You know, they did everything with Hegseth. In ill-qualified white supremacist, because they don't know what it's not the Iron Cross. The cross. It's only been around in Christianity for 1,000 years. And now they dig up these 7-year-old accusations, which led to no criminal charges, much like in the case of Matt Gaetz. Okay. Let me just see something here, actually. Now I'm just, with the news of Matt Gaetz, I got to go back down to the market here, Kalshi, and see who they're now predicting for goodness sake, this 2-step verification. Let's just see who they're now predicting for Secretary of Defense. Okay, we've still got what's his face? Hegseth is still over 50%. It's funny now. Todd Blanche is the leading favorite for Attorney General. Mike Lee is in number 2. Mike Davis is in number 3, and then Ken Paxton and Andrew Bailey. It's interesting. Anyways, whatever. It's wild. There's so many people in that list. Okay, let me see something here. There's a CommieTube Humble Rant. CommieTube Super Chat from Life of Brian. Gaetz withdrew. Time for 0 seats. Time for 0 seats, USA. What does that mean? Life of Brian. Tell me what that means, or at least chat. Tell me what that means. Time for 0 seats. And let's go over to Rumble, see what's going on there. And now let's go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com before we get into it. Meanwhile, Barry is... I'm not reading that. I'm going to get canceled for... Boopsy says, Gaetz pulls out of nomination. That's the biggest news for me. What could be the plans for him now? Okay, and then we got Encryptus for visibility. This is a sad day for America, and that is Matt Gaetz' statement of withdrawal. Yeah. They will get someone good in there, but anyway, we'll talk about it on Sunday with Barnes. I'm curious to know what he thinks about it. Okay, what else is going on in the news? But no, while we're at it, because we're talking about the smear campaign by the smear merchants against Hegseth, against Matt Gaetz, and they don't stop against Tulsi Gabbard, and these people. I mean, they're such a bunch of freaking cowards because they do it knowing that they have immunity. Like Elizabeth Warren. And what's the other one? Debbie Haaland? They were never held legally responsible for their defamatory statements that led a lynch mob against Nicholas Sandmann. Immunity. They know that they can say whatever the hell they want because they have immunity, which makes them the utmost of cowards. Smear merchant cowards. Now, Tammy Duckworth is the latest one. She's a military veteran. Hold on, let me bring this up here. Tammy Duckworth is in Iraq. Oh, I think it's an Iraq war. She lost her legs. Tammy Duckworth, war injury. She lost her legs in Iraq. She lost her right leg near the hip and her left leg below the knee from injury sustained on November 12, 2004, when the UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter she was co-piloting was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade fired by Iraqi insurgents. She was the first American female double amputee from the war in Iraq. Just reading from Wikipedia. So I am inclined to have the utmost of respect for all veterans, and I don't care if say especially veterans who are injured in action, because all veterans run that risk, and it's to some extent just a minefield as to who is fortunate enough to be spared physical injuries, but they're all not spared psychological injuries. I will be forever grateful for every veteran's service. Being a veteran and being an injured veteran does not give you carte blanche to slander and defame another veteran, because Tulsi Gabbard is also a war veteran. This is the Tammy Duckworth who, on the one hand, veterans who served and are proud of their service, absolutely. Veterans who served and now don't regret, but potentially feel like they might have been exploited by their government to fight useless proxy wars, to fight useless oil wars, to fight useless regime change wars. I can say I can certainly relate to that sentiment a lot more than those who have seen the way military men and women have been used and abused by the U.S. government to wage proxy wars, to wage oil wars, and to be experimented on. So, when veterans come out and say, yeah, I fought, I gave life and limb, sacrificed, risked life and limb to fight for this country, you're damn right you're going to listen to what I have to say. And then they say, and now I realize the degree to which our government is corrupt. And would I do it again? I don't know, but I don't have faith in this government. I prefer that to, I thought I was grievously injured, and now we should send more people to these stupid wars to get grievously injured, because that's exactly what Tammy Duckworth is promoting. This clip is from a while back, but I remember the exchange. Talking about the war in Ukraine.
So long as Ukraine needs our support, the United States should not shy away from our role as a global leader in the fight to uphold democracy and the rule of law. A world with a Ukrainian victory is a safer one, and House Republicans need to recognize that.
This is a woman who lost 2 legs in a war which was fought on a lie of a pretext. You would think that maybe she would take a step back and say, I lost parts of my body as a result of a godforsaken lie. Maybe I don't get behind the latest government war machine lie. Maybe there's reasons why she's behind it. This is a woman who's now willing to send other people to get grievously injured to fight wars that are being promoted by a government that has a history of lying so that they can enforce regime change, land grabs, oil grabs, grease the wheel of that military industrial complex with the blood of the military men and women. No problem doing it.
So long as Ukraine needs our support, the United States should not shy away from our role as a global leader in the fight to uphold democracy and the rule of law. A world with a Ukrainian victory is a safer one, and House Republicans need to recognize that.
It's just a wildly stupid sentiment. It's a wildly stupid statement. With a Ukrainian victory? How about a negotiated peace? But she lost her legs and apparently has no qualms sending hundreds of thousands of other people off to lose theirs over a lie of a war that could have been averted from day one. Now, Tammy Duckworth, thank you for your service, Tammy, but that doesn't mean you get carte blanche to go and slander and defame in a way that is not just reckless, but actually dangerous. Because if what you're saying is true, well, there are certain very real legal consequences that would result from that. This is the same Tammy Duckworth. Tulsi Gabbard is a Putin apologist, conspiracy theorist, and friend to a Syrian dictator who gassed his own people. Assad. Gas attack. False flag. We'll get to that in a second. I'm fairly certain there's legitimate concern or legitimate dispute over what actually occurred and whether or not it was actually Assad gassing his own people for no strategically beneficial reason whatsoever. Putin apologist, conspiracy theorist, friend of a dictator who gassed his own people. Not only is she unqualified to be director of national intelligence, she's likely compromised. You know who I feel is likely compromised, Tammy? You. You know who I think is a Ukrainian apologist, maybe corrupt in the bed with Zelensky? You. You know who I think is a propagandist and a liar, putting someone's reputation and arguably their life at risk with these defamatory statements? Tammy, you. That's not someone who should be protecting our nation's secrets, says Tammy Duckworth, who's ready to send your kids off to die in Ukraine. But hey, she was grievously injured in Iraq. So, I guess that in her mind, maybe that gives her the right to slander and put at risk other veterans who served loyally as her. Nikki Haley saying the same shit. They're all that was from We're Under Siege 12. Yeah, they're all saying it. Go look at who's saying it. Unfortunately, it's the political scum of the earth that are saying it. And it's not because Tammy was grievously wounded serving in Iraq that she is not debasing herself to the political scum of the earth by making these wild, insane, debunked accusations against Tulsi Gabbard. But it started with Hillary Clinton, and I guess maybe they're all doing it for their own self-preservation. That's all I have to say about that. Let me go up here and see. The chat on Rumble. What do we got here? Tulsi is going to have trouble defending herself against the Assad bullshit since she validated the nonsense that he gassed his own people. She's going to have a tough time. This is from Mikor. I don't know what she said to validate the gassing, but if she affirmed that Assad gassed his own people, that's one heck of a thing for a friend of Assad to do. Anyhow, that's it. You know what we're going to do now, by the way? I almost forgot. Well, first of all, I almost forgot to thank our sponsor for the day. That's where I might go. That's where I get a little silly if I do the 5-minute intro and I got to do the rant video. Then I got to remember to do the sponsor. People, Rumble partner, sponsor of the day. I'm getting one of these Faraday wallets because I did a podcast yesterday with the ethical hacker over on Unusual Suspects, and I have now since gone and firmed up my digital safety. I've always had two-step authentication, but I'm getting one of those wallets, people. Do you know why? Because 60% of US adults have had their data hacked or exposed. Relying on big tech or the government for protection, that's like asking Kamala Harris to answer a question. Don't hold your breath unless you're into asphyxiation. Joke, don't do that. 5G freeze Faraday laptop and phone holders aren't just cases. They're a total signal shutdown for your devices. Slip your gear inside and you block everything EMF, radiation, GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular tracking. All of it is gone. Not only does this protect your privacy, but it also keeps you safe from constant EMF exposure, which has been linked to potential health risks. With 5G free, your devices stay dark, secure, and you stay protected. Visit 5G free, the number 5G like golf, free like freedom.com. Promo code Viva for 15% off. Protect yourself and your data. 5gfree.com. Promo code Viva for 15% off. Now, get your heinies on over to either Locals. Here, I'm in YouTube here. Go to Locals. Or go to Viva Fry on the Rumble, which I shall give you the link to now. And we're going to end this on YouTube now. We're going to talk Jussie Smollett. What else is on the backdrop here? A bunch of good stuff. Jussie Smollett. Oh, yeah. And the Soros karma. It's good. Come on over to Viva Fry on Rumble. Okay, so now I go like this. Don't do the fat finger thing, Viva. Rumble and Locals updates